Pinterest sections are becoming more talked about as I do more training sessions and audits within the Pinterest space. Directly with Pinterest, I've been doing some things with them this year, working on things for creators and creating some education for them. And sections are something that just keeps coming up. Now, sections are not something I've ever talked about on this channel, but back in the summer when I did an audit session with them, Pinterest themselves said that sections are now searchable. They are indexed, is what they mean. They're not going to come up in the search bar, and we're going to get more into like the clarifications of this in this video. But sections are definitely indexable, and I wanted to just talk to you about when you should create sections and when you shouldn't, because this is a question I'm getting quite a lot in my membership as well, and I've just inherently pushed people towards just creating Pinterest boards. So let's talk about it. So since board sections are indexed by Pinterest now, you definitely want to be really strategic with the naming convention of your section. I'm going to do a screen recording tutorial video later in this video for you to show you exactly what this process looks like. But what I would tell you just top line is to make sure your Pinterest section is named the same exact way you would name a board. So if your board is how to create watercolor paintings, then your section should follow the same convention. It should be a search-friendly term. Now, why would you create a section at all? Because we could just create boards. Well, I actually thought this through in talking with these creators that are inside of this program I've been working with Pinterest on, and talking to people in my membership group, and just thinking through as a Pinterest marketer myself why I might want to create a section. I've come up with just two really solid reasons. And the first is you just simply don't have enough content to create a board as a standalone. I run into this a lot actually within the coaching inside of Pin Profit Academy. I actually run into this more often than you might think. Creators will write a blog post on one topic, but that's not a topic that they go really deep in. It's just something that's a support topic for their business or for their audience. Or they want to pin about that topic and they have one piece of content, but they don't really want to have a whole board. So in this instance, if you don't have a ton of content to create on a specific topic, but you do create about maybe that overarching topic, a section might be a really good idea. Now, on the flip side of that is if you have too much content, and this is actually where those conversations with this group of creators that I've been working with Pinterest on comes from. This thought process of having a board that has 15,000 pins on it, that's not very user-friendly. And if someone hits that board and they become quickly overwhelmed because there's way too many options, then they are probably going to leave and they're going to go back to the search bar and they're going to look for something else. Now that's if they even hit your board at all, right? Because most people are using the search bar and they're surfacing pins within the search results. So if they do land on your board and they do become overwhelmed by the 15,000 pins you have on there, sections might actually be a really good way to break out the content and make it more user-friendly and make it easier to find. 4 things I want to clarify with you. Number 1, Pinterest has said Pinterest sections are searchable. There's a lot of information out on the internet that says that they are not searchable. I have even said that on this very channel in the past. And that is because historically speaking, we have been given information saying that they are not search friendly. However, at some point in recent history, that seems to have changed. And now your Pinterest sections, the titles of them are indexed, which means they are searchable. The pins within them then go with the section name, just like your normal board strategy thought process. The pins within the section are indexed with that section title as well as the SEO for the pin. That all gets indexed together in the algorithm, and then Pinterest knows how to surface your pin when the time comes. To clarify even further, sections are not going to surface in the board filters. However, your pins on those sections will surface in the search results. And that's really what we care about here. So I could care less whether you use a section or not, but if you do fit into one of those 2 reasons why you might want to create a section, just know if you do your SEO due diligence, you are going to be fine. Number 2, Pinterest sections are not forever. You can move them to their own boards. You can move them from a board back to a section section, board, okay? You're not married to it. Number 3, Pinterest sections do not have their own standalone descriptions, so you really should be making sure that your overarching board, the board that the section lives inside of. And number 4, and I think this is just more of a tactical thing, something you need to be aware of, is you cannot pin to sections via third-party scheduling tools, at least not yet. So if you do use a third-party scheduling tool primarily, you will need to go back and organize those pins into sections. And if you have a Pinterest manager that's doing this for you, or you're doing this on your own, then that's just something you're gonna need to add into your routine. Now, I will say sections are schedule friendly using the Pinterest native scheduler. You can schedule to them via the native scheduler, and I have that tutorial that's coming up for you. Okay, to create a section on a board on Pinterest, you want to first start with actually doing a bit of keyword research. So if I wanted to create sections for this particular board, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that today, the first step that I would do is actually pop into my search bar and start looking for the scheduler platforms. So I know that Buffer is a platform that you can schedule with. So Buffer for Pinterest. And I'm just going to search for that because that's what someone would be looking for if they were in my shoes and they were looking for a Pinterest scheduler. I'm just going to get rid of my keywords everywhere. Okay, so we have blog for Buffer. We have some other Pinterest pins here that are more of like Pinterest scheduling, Pinterest trends, and things like that. So I'm not going to name it for that. So Pinterest scheduling with Buffer. That is more along the lines, I think, of what someone might actually search for. Pinterest scheduler reviews. There's a pin I made. Yeah, this one looks more in line. There's one of my pins of what we actually want to do. So let's actually use this same framework for each of the sections that we're going to create. So within our main board is optimized. We have a title and description. We're going to click organize. And we are going to select the pins that we want to put into the section. So if I'm talking about Buffer, I'm going to grab a couple of these little pins for Buffer. And then I'm going to come down here, and it might be hard to see, but you see my face right down here? This move and then create section button is what you're looking for. And then you're going to paste in the keyword that you want to use and name your section. So Pinterest scheduling with Buffer. And now I have those 3 pins inside of that one section. So let's do this one more time. Let's do this with Planoly. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that one for Planoly, and I'm going to grab this Pinterest approved scheduler tool. And I don't see the other ones for Planoly right now, but that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and create a section for this one. So it's going to be Pinterest scheduling with Planoly. And I'm a bit incessant in making sure that it's capitalized spaces, and then we're going to go backwards. So now we have Pinterest scheduling with Planoly, and we have Pinterest scheduling with Buffer. And then we have all of these other pins that are on the board that could just be more generic or more in line with, the overall general topic. So that's how you create your Pinterest board sections and organize them. Okay, so the next thing that you need to know how to do is how to make a section its own board. At some point in time, your Pinterest section might need to become its own board based on some of the things that we've already talked about. If and when that time comes, you need to know how to do that. So that's what we're going to show you how to do in this one. So go to Saved and create a Pinterest board. And you're going to name it the same thing that you named your section. So Pinterest. Okay, so to organize the pins from a section into a standalone board, you want to click into the actual section and click Organize. And then you want to choose those pins that you want to organize, and you want to click Move. And then you're going to move them to that standalone board. So search for that board, and it's a secret board, and this is the section that's currently on, which is why it's grayed out. You can't move something from a current section or a current board to the same place. That's why I want you to go ahead and create your board first, and then go ahead and choose Save. Now what's going to happen is all of the pins out of that section are now gone, and they are now living on the other board that you just created. So let's go check it. So we have this Pinterest scheduling with buffer. It is a secret board, and those pins are on that board itself now. And now they are gone from the section. And if you want to delete the section, you're just going to click edit section and delete. And you are done. You have now graduated the Pinterest pins from the section to their own board. You now just need to go back and add a Pinterest board description and a board cover and make this board public, and you are set to go. Pinterest pin to a section. You can only do this on the native Pinterest scheduler. You want to come in and get your URL in there. We're going to pop over to my website just really quick and grab the URL and the title. I was not prepared to do this, but I decided to do it at the last minute as part of this tutorial. So throw in your URL and a destination link, and then we're going to put it on the most appropriate board. I think it's already figured out which one. So Pinterest scheduling with buffer. And then you can go ahead and schedule it now, or you can schedule it later. So this is going on a full board, right? But if we wanted to put it on a section, we would need to find that Pinterest board. And you can see here, this one has sections on it because it has a little caret. So let's actually find the Pinterest scheduler's board, and then you would want to put it on the section, and you can actually create sections right here inside the scheduler. So if that Pinterest section still lived in here in this Pinterest scheduler's board, I already graduated it to its own board, we would just go ahead and choose that section. So inside of the native Pinterest scheduler, you can actually schedule your Pinterest pins to the sections they go to. I'm going to go ahead and just put this on the buffer board because that actually just makes more sense. And I'm going to click publish immediately and publish. And that's it. You just find the board inside, you open it up, you choose the section, you click publish, either publish now or publish later, and you are good to go. So should you make sections or not? That is the million-dollar question here. It is coming up a lot lately, and honestly, I don't blame you for asking. So my wisdom around this, like the finality around this, because people always want an answer, is that if you have enough content, if you have enough products to put on a board, and that board can live on its own, then just make a board. And if you don't, then just make a section within another board. For example, I have a lot of content around Pinterest schedulers, and I create a lot of content around Pinterest schedulers. I could have a section inside of that one Pinterest scheduler board for each scheduler, and then I could also have pins just on the board itself as well. You saw that in the tutorial, how I was doing the sections for the different scheduler tools. I have a lot of content. I could make each scheduler its own board. Honestly, to me, I just don't care because I don't know how much some of these lesser known Pinterest schedulers are being searched. So these are things you're going to have to take into consideration. One way that you can judge this is based on search volume for the keyword that you find that you want to use for your section name. There's really no volume around Pinterest scheduling with buffer. There is Pinterest scheduling with Tailwind, or how to use Tailwind. That is a keyword, and I can see there is some volume there. So you're going to need to make a judgment call at the end of the day. Do you have enough content, and is there enough drive for that search term or that content for it to be its own board? If so, just make a board. If not, make a section. Honestly, you're not married to it. You can go from board to section to board to section, and it's fine. If you need more information around how to create your very own Pinterest board strategy, guess what? I've made a video on it. You can watch the Pinterest board strategy video here, or you can come and join us inside of Pin Profit Academy. The choice is yours. I'll see you wherever.